You work hard. You earn money every month. But at the end of the month, you look at your bank account and you think, where did it all go? Sounds familiar? You are not alone. This is one of the most common feelings in the world. And today, we are going to do something about it. Welcome back to Easy English Daily. My name is Daniel, and this is episode number 9. Today we are talking about money. Specifically, we are talking about saving money. Not the boring kind of advice you hear everywhere. Not the just stop buying coffee kind of advice. No. Today, I am going to share saving tips that actually work. Real practical strategies that you can start using today. And here is the best part. While we learn about saving money, you are also going to learn a lot of useful English vocabulary related to finances, banking, and everyday spending. These are words and phrases you will use in real life. Whether you are talking to a colleague about budgets, reading your bank statement, or just trying to understand your bills. So let us talk about money. Let us learn how to keep more of it, and let us do it in English. Part 1. Why is saving money so difficult? Before we talk about tips, let us talk about the problem. Why is saving money so hard? Because if it were easy, everyone would do it, right? There are a few reasons why most people struggle with saving. The first reason is lifestyle inflation. What does that mean? Lifestyle inflation is when you earn more money, but you also spend more money. You get a raise at work, but then you start eating at more expensive restaurants. You buy nicer clothes. You upgrade your phone. Your salary goes up, but your spending goes up at the same speed. So at the end of the month, you still have nothing left. The second reason is impulse buying. An impulse is a sudden desire to do something. Impulse buying is when you buy something without planning it. You walk past the shop and you see a beautiful jacket in the window. You did not need a jacket. You did not plan to buy a jacket. But 5 minutes later, you are walking out of the shop with a new jacket and $50 less in your wallet. We have all done it. The problem is that these small impulse purchases add up over time. The third reason is that many people do not have a clear picture of their finances. They do not know exactly how much they earn, how much they spend, and where their money goes. It is like trying to lose weight without ever stepping on a scale. If you do not measure, you cannot manage. Let me teach you a useful phrase here. I need to keep track of my expenses. To keep track of something means to monitor it, to pay attention to it over time. I keep track of my expenses. This is the first step to saving money. Repeat after me. I keep track of my expenses. Part 2. The 50-30-20 rule. Okay, let us start with our first real tip. And this is a big one. It is called the 50-30-20 rule. This is one of the most popular budgeting methods in the world, and it is simple enough for anyone to use. Here's how it works. You take your income, the money you earn after taxes, and you divide it into 3 categories. 50% goes to needs. These are the things you must pay for, things you cannot live without. Your rent or your mortgage, your electricity bill, your water bill, your groceries, transportation to work, health insurance. These are needs. They are not optional. You have to pay them. 30% goes to wants. These are the things you enjoy but do not absolutely need. Going to restaurants, streaming services like Netflix, new clothes that you want but do not need, a gym membership, travel, entertainment. These things make life enjoyable, but you could survive without them. And 20% goes to savings. This is the money you put away for the future. Your savings account, your emergency fund, paying off debt, investing. This is the money that builds your financial security. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. 20%? That is a lot. And yes, for some people, saving 20% feels impossible right now. And that is okay. The 50-30-20 rule is a guideline, not a strict law. If you can only save 10% or even 5%, that is still progress. The important thing is that you save something every month. Let me teach you some vocabulary. Your income is the money you earn. Your expenses are the things you spend money on. A budget is a plan for how you will spend your money. And to budget means to plan your spending. Repeat after me. I budget my money every month. Part 3. Pay yourself first. Here's tip number 2, and this one changed my life. Pay yourself first. What does that mean? It means that when you receive your salary, the first thing you do is move some money into your savings account before you pay your bills, before you buy groceries, before you do anything else. You pay yourself first. Why is this so powerful? Because most people do the opposite. They receive their salary, they pay their bills, they buy things, they go out with friends. And at the end of the month, they save whatever is left over. But the problem is, there is usually nothing left over. The money is gone. When you pay yourself first, you reverse this process. You save first, and then you spend what remains. It's a small change in the order of things, but it makes an enormous difference. And here's my best advice. Make it automatic. Go to your bank and set up an automatic transfer. Every month, on the day you get paid, your bank automatically moves a certain amount into your savings account. You do not have to think about it. You do not have to remember. It just happens. And after a few months, you will not even notice the money is gone from your regular account. But your savings account will be growing. A useful phrase here is, I set up an automatic transfer. To set up means to organize or arrange something. I set up an automatic transfer to my savings account. Repeat after me. I set up an automatic transfer every month. Part 4. The 24-hour rule. Tip number 3 is one of my favorites. It is called the 24-hour rule, and it is the best weapon against impulse buying. The rule is simple. When you see something you want to buy, but you did not plan to buy it, you wait 24 hours. You do not buy it immediately. You go home, you sleep on it, and the next day, you ask yourself, do I still want this? Do I really need this? You will be amazed at how often the answer is no. That jacket you saw in the shop window, the next day, you probably do not care about it anymore. Those shoes you saw online at 2 a.m, in the light of day, they do not seem so special. The excitement fades and you realize you do not actually need the thing. This rule works because our brains are not very good at making decisions when we are excited or emotional. When we see something shiny and new, our brain says, I want that now. It is an emotional reaction, not a rational one. The 24-hour rule gives your rational brain time to catch up with your emotional brain. Of course, this rule is for the non-essential purchases. If you need to buy food or medicine, buy it. But for things like electronics, clothes, gadgets, accessories, and anything else that is a want and not a need, try the 24-hour rule. It will save you a surprising amount of money. Let me teach you an expression. I slept on it. This is a very common English expression. It means you waited until the next day before making a decision. Someone asks you, "Did you buy that laptop?" And you say, "No, I slept on it and I decided I do not really need it." Repeat after me. I slept on it before making a decision. Part 5. Track your spending. Tip number 4 is about awareness. You need to track your spending. Most people have no idea where their money goes. They know their big expenses like rent and car payments. But what about the small things? The coffee you buy every morning, the subscription you forgot about, the delivery fee for ordering food. These small expenses seem insignificant by themselves, but they add up to hundreds or even thousands of dollars every year. So how do you track your spending? You can use a simple notebook. Every time you spend money, write it down. At the end of the week, add it all up. You can also use a spreadsheet on your computer or a free app on your phone. Some apps even connect to your bank account and automatically categorize your purchases. The method does not matter. What matters is that you do it. When you see your spending written down in front of you, it becomes very clear where your money is going. And then you can make smart decisions about where to cut back. Here is a useful phrase: I cut back on eating out. To cut back on something means to reduce it, to do less of it. I cut back on eating out. I cut back on online shopping. I cut back on unnecessary subscriptions. Repeat after me. I cut back on unnecessary expenses. Part 6. The envelope method. Tip number 5 is an old-fashioned method, but it works beautifully. It is called the envelope method. Here's how it works. At the beginning of the month, you decide how much money you want to spend on different categories: groceries, entertainment, clothing, eating out. Then you take real envelopes, the paper kind. Write a category on each one and put the cash inside. $200 in the groceries envelope, $100 in entertainment, and so on. When you need to buy groceries, you take money from the groceries envelope. When the envelope is empty, you stop spending in that category until next month. This method is powerful because it makes spending physical. When you pay with a card, spending does not feel real. But when you see the envelope getting thinner, you become much more careful. If you prefer not to carry cash, you can adapt this using separate bank accounts or digital tools. The principle is the same. A useful phrase here is "I stick to my budget." To stick to something means to follow it strictly, to not deviate from it. I stick to my budget. I try to stick to my budget every month. Repeat after me. I stick to my budget. Part 7. Cancel what you do not use. Tip number 6 is quick and easy. Cancel subscriptions and memberships you do not use. How many subscriptions do you have right now? Think about it. Streaming services, music apps, online magazines, cloud storage, a gym membership you have not used in 3 months, a language learning app you opened once in January, a food delivery service membership. Most people are paying for things they forgot about or no longer use. These are called recurring charges. Recurring means they happen again and again, usually every month. And because they are automatic, you do not notice them, but they are quietly draining your bank account. My advice is this: sit down today and go through your bank statement. Look at every recurring charge. Ask yourself, am I using this? Is this adding value to my life? If the answer is no, cancel it. It takes 5 minutes and it could save you $50, $100, or even $200 a month. Here's a phrase you should know. I canceled my subscription. The verb is cancel. I canceled my subscription to the streaming service. I canceled my gym membership. Repeat after me. I canceled my subscription because I was not using it. Part 8. The power of small changes. Tip number 7 is about mindset. Do not underestimate the power of small changes. Many people think that saving money means making big, dramatic sacrifices. Moving to a smaller apartment, selling your car, never going on vacation again, but that is not true. Saving money is usually about many small changes, not one big change. Let me give you some examples. You buy coffee at a cafe every morning for $4. If you make coffee at home instead, you save about $80 a month. That is almost $1,000 a year. You order food delivery 3 times a week. Each delivery costs about $20, including the delivery fee and tip. If you cook at home instead, you save about $240 a month. That is nearly $3,000 a year. You have a gym membership that costs $50 a month, but you only go twice a month. That is $25 per visit. Maybe you could exercise outside for free, or find a cheaper gym, or use free workout videos online. Each of these changes alone is small, but together they can save you thousands of dollars per year. And the beautiful thing is that none of these changes require you to suffer. You are not sacrificing your happiness. You are just being a little smarter about how you spend. A great phrase for this is every little bit counts. This means that even small amounts of money or small efforts are important because they add up over time. Every little bit counts when you are saving money. Repeat after me. Every little bit counts. Part 9. Build an emergency fund. Tip number 8 is about protection. You need an emergency fund. An emergency fund is money that you save specifically for unexpected events. Your car breaks down, you need to visit the dentist, you lose your job, your washing machine stops working. These things happen to everyone, and when they happen, they cost money. If you do not have an emergency fund, you might have to borrow money or use a credit card, which means you end up paying even more because of interest. Financial experts usually recommend saving 3 to 6 months of your living expenses as an emergency fund. That might sound like a lot, and it is, but you do not have to save it all at once. Start small. Save a little bit every month. Even having 1 month of expenses saved gives you much more security than having nothing. And here is an important rule. Your emergency fund is only for real emergencies. A sale at your favorite store is not an emergency. A new phone is not an emergency. Wanting to go on vacation is not an emergency. An emergency is something unexpected and necessary. Let me teach you a phrase. I have money set aside for emergencies. To set aside means to save or reserve for a specific purpose. I have money set aside for emergencies. Repeat after me. I have money set aside for emergencies. Part 10. Talk about money. My final tip might surprise you. Tip number 9 is talk about money. In many cultures, money is a taboo topic. People feel embarrassed talking about it. How much do you earn? How much do you have in savings? These questions feel too personal. But here is the thing. When you do not talk about money, you do not learn about money. You stay in your own little bubble, making the same mistakes over and over. I am not saying you should tell everyone your salary, But talking about money with people you trust, your partner, family, close friends, can be incredibly valuable. You might learn that your friend found a cheaper phone plan. Your colleague might tell you about a savings account with a high interest rate. Money does not have to be a secret. It is just a tool. Here's a phrase for this topic. I am trying to be more financially responsible. Financially responsible means you are careful and smart with your money. Repeat after me. I am trying to be more financially responsible. Part 11. Vocabulary Review. Before we finish, let me review the most important words and phrases from today's episode. Income, the money you earn from your job or other sources. My monthly income is $3,000. Expenses, the money you spend. My biggest expense is my rent. Budget, a plan for how to spend and save your money. I created a budget this month. Save, to keep money for the future instead of spending it. I save 20% of my income. Debt, money that you owe to someone, like a bank or a credit card company. I am working to pay off my debt. Interest, extra money you earn on your savings or extra money you pay on your debt. My savings account earns 3% interest. Subscription, are a regular payment for a service. I canceled my subscription because I was not using it. Emergency fund, money saved specifically for unexpected situations. I have 3 months of expenses in my emergency fund. Cut back, to reduce spending on something. I cut back on eating out this month. Set aside, to reserve money for a specific purpose. I set aside $100 every month for savings. Keep track of, to monitor or follow something over time. I keep track of all my expenses in a spreadsheet. These are all very practical words that you can use in everyday conversations about money and finances. Part 12. Putting it all together. Let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I was not very good with money. I earned a decent salary, but at the end of every month, I had almost nothing left. Then I decided to make a change. I started tracking my spending, and the results were eye-opening. I was spending almost $300 a month on food delivery alone. I had 4 streaming services, but only watched 2 regularly, and I was paying for a gym I barely used. So I canceled what I was not using, cut back on delivery, started cooking more, and set up an automatic transfer to save 10% of my salary. The first month was hard, but by the 3rd month, I did not even notice the difference in my daily life. After 1 year, I had my first real emergency fund. And the peace of mind that comes from having money saved is worth more than any coffee or streaming service. The point is simple. You do not need to change everything at once. Start with 1 tip, try it for a month, then add another. Small steps lead to big results. And that is the end of episode 9. Thank you so much for listening today. I hope you learned some useful saving tips and some great English vocabulary at the same time. If you take away only one thing from today, let it be this. Saving money is not about earning more. It is about being smarter with what you already have. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to Easy English Daily, click the like button, and share it with someone who might find it useful. Every share helps our community grow. I will see you in the next episode. Until then, take care of yourself. Be kind to your wallet, and remember, every dollar you save today is a dollar that works for you tomorrow. This is Daniel, and you have been listening to Easy English Daily. Goodbye for now.